Today's episode is brought to you by DAX Copilot from Microsoft. To learn about how DAX Copilot can help you reduce burnout and restore the joy of practicing medicine, visit aka.ms/knock-knock-hi. Again, that's aka.ms, like Microsoft, /knock-knock-hi.
You ever have that attending who is just an absolute fountain of knowledge and you wish you could just sit down and have coffee with them and be that third person in the room while they discuss those things?
Yes.
I am not that attending, but I do like to follow them around. And I wish that there was a podcast where I could emulate that kind of energy and have this third person feel like they're in the room with us, going into the nuances of what it means to be patient with someone, how to be therapeutic, but also being able to delve into off-topic and candid things about what it's like to
candor
be a resident.
Things. Talk like humans do with candor. Do you hate Mondays like the cat Garfield?
I do. I do hate Mondays.
Well, we want to make it better for you.
How can you make Mondays better for me?
Maybe you can listen to our podcast, How to Be Patient, where you hear Preston and I be talking about psychiatry.
I have to be very patient with Margaret.
Because I'm advanced. Because I'm a couple of years. I'm a PGY4 psych resident. Preston, you are
PGY2,
which is 2 less.
Margaret and I are not normal residents. We're cool residents. So if you want a boring podcast,
I'm gonna get hazed for that.
I would avoid our show. But if you want to tune in, check in with us every Monday, and we'll be posting new episodes where we talk about topics ranging from cognitive behavioral therapy to vitamin D, how I feel about Fortnite, and everything in between.
Stregonona Fall.
And Stregonona Fall.
The Lizzie McGuire of it all.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Knock Knock Hi with the Glaucomfleckens. I am Dr. Glaucomflecken, better known, actually lesser known, as Will Flannery.
I am Lady Glaucomflecken. Is it better, lesser, or equal known as Kristen Flannery?
Thank you for joining us for an episode of Glauc Talk, where the Glaucs talk.
We talk. Talk Glauc.
I've got 2 unrelated questions for you here at the top.
Okay.
The first one is, have you ever heard of this fact? It's not a fact, but it's
statement.
A statement. Have you ever heard this statement? Women see more colors than men.
I don't know if I've heard that exact statement. I am of the impression that women are just better with color than men, but I don't know if that's because of vision itself or something else.
Well, so partially, but first of all, that statement's false. I had actually never heard of that. And then I saw something on social media about that. Women just see more colors than men, which is not true, because in order to see more colors, you'd have to have a wider visual spectrum, and your rods and cones don't work that way. So
would you not just have to have different kinds of cones, or
you're right.
more cones, or is that what you mean by wider visual spectrum?
Yeah, you'd have to have a different type of cone that saw a different wavelength of light than our visible spectrum of light, which is 400 to 700 nanometer wavelengths.
Does this come from the notion that more men are colorblind than women?
This is partially true, yes. So when we're looking at the red-green axis, that's where most color blindness is on the red-green type of cones, okay? Some women, not all women, some women have a variant of a gene that actually gives heightened sensitivity to red and green shades.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's called tetrachromatic. So you're like a tetrachromat if you're a person that can see more sensitivity to different shades. Yeah.
Tetra would mean 4, would it not?
Yeah.
So then we still just have, you just said we have heightened sensitivity for red and green.
I don't know why it's called tetrachromatic.
Because we're still trichromatic, right?
Right. You're still it's just like the fourth is like you're just better at a particular tri.
One of those
Yes.
types of cones
Yes.
is more sensitive.
It's just more sensitive. And the reason is
That's
because
misleading.
the reason is because you have that gene and you also have 2 X chromosomes. So you have you have just more of that, whatever protein that gene encodes, you have more of it.
Yeah.
That gives you heightened sensitivity.
But only for
those-
red-green.
Only on the red-green axis, yeah.
I wonder if I have that. How do you know if you have it?
I
I
mean,
guess
you
you don't.
probably have to have some genetic testing, but why?
Yeah. Because it's fun.
But it's and yeah, because men are much more likely to have color blindness because we only have 1 X chromosome, and that's where
So it's like the inverse of tetrachromatic of this mutation, right? You only have 1 X chromosome, and maybe something is messed up on the red-green gene on your 1 X chromosome.
exactly. So you end
But
up
we have
colorblind.
2 X chromosomes, and then something
Mhm.
is like
added.
heightened
Yes.
on one of our X chromosomes, or both. Both, I guess.
Yeah, it'd be both. So you have just more of it. So anyway, that's the only major difference in color perception between men and women. Is
That feels like opposite sides of the same coin. You know, like this. It's interesting.
Well,
It's kind of the same mechanism, but in opposite directions.
It makes sense. It does make sense because most of colorblind disorders are X linked, so they're linked to the sex chromosomes, and so anyway, that's why most men have it.
So in this gene mutation, is a mutation?
No, it's
a
just
variant?
It's a variant on a specific gene.
So not only do you have, but all women have too, and so for some women, the gene on both of your chromosomes is just better.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just awesome. You just like Christmas comes around and you are
like,
just
wow.
Man, you are nailing the chartreuse or
you don't even know the colors.
What I don't know the colors. But it's, I'm think I'm probably just as good as you are.
Oh no, you are not.
No,
I'm really.
Maybe
That's what you think.
I'm just saying that to get you riled up.
Oh, I'm good at color. I was gonna say, do you think I have this? Because I'm pretty good at color.
Okay, well, what's like the shirt you're wearing?
Mm-hmm.
I would say is blue.
What?
It's like light blue. It's light blue, right?
It is most definitely not.
It's a. Yeah, it's a. No, it's gray.
It's gray.
Oh, it's gray. It's gray. Okay, it's very gray. It's the light from the window. It makes it look a little bit blue.
Daylight is a blue color.
It makes it a little bit look blue. But then I look down here and it's definitely gray.
Yeah, it is a cool undertone gray. And it's being lit by daylight, which is a cool toned light.
I'm really glad we're talking about this topic because like right before we started recording, I decided to do this like separately from you. Uh-huh. You were like, "Oh, did you hear what the color of the year is?"
Pantone color of the year, 2025.
So
Mocha Mousse.
You say that like I'm supposed to know what Pantone is.
I'm so disappointed that you don't. People know this. This is a thing.
Nobody knows. Okay,
Pantone is a color company. It's like
a color company.
It's like
a company for the color naturally occurring colors.
Are you done?
Okay, go ahead.
It's a color. It's a company that is sort of the gold standard for describing colors. Okay. And it's useful. You think this is nonsense because you're a doctor and you don't ever think about this stuff, but think about designers.
Okay.
People like the fashion industry, the beauty industry, graphic design, interior design. Like for a lot of people, it's a reference.
I want to hear from our audience. Have you heard of Pantone? It's a company. You said Pantone. Mm-hmm. P-A-N-T, like pants. Own. Pantone. Yes. Okay.
Or Pantone.
Oh, Pantone. That's what
all
it is. Oh,
color.
Okay. I really thought it was like pants.
My own pant.
Not 2 pants. Not multiple pants.
One
just
pant.
A pant.
That is how it's spelled.
A single pant.
Pant one.
So Pantone. That makes more sense. Pantone.
Yes.
All right. So what's the color of the year?
Mocha Moose.
Can you show it to me real quick?
Okay.
I wanna see-
This is not good for a listening
It's okay.
experience, but
All right, so it's brown.
It's a brown.
It's brown.
I would call it kind of a mushroom brown.
What is that? What do you mean mushroom brown? Mushrooms are like white. They're all kinds of colors. There's a mushroom.
They are. You're
Yeah.
correct. But
Mushroom
The-
brown, please.
mushroom in the color world, I would say, is kind of a taupe.
Which is a type of violet.
No.
Pink.
Brown.
Taupe?
Yes.
Damn.
Are you thinking of mauve or mauve?
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Mauve.
Jeez.
Is it mauve?
I don't know.
That's
I've heard
mauve.
it both ways.
Mauve.
I've heard it both ways, though, and I don't know
All right,
which
so anyway,
one is correct.
Mocha mousse, that is just straight up brown.
I would say this is, it's hard, it's a very,
poop brown.
no, it's not. It's a very,
Is that a color from Pantone?
I doubt it. Fecal matter.
Fecal brown? Urine yellow?
Ew.
Bile green?
Oh,
Blood
yeah.
red. They probably have those. That's blood red's
There
a
is
thing.
a red called oxblood. It's like it's actually kind of a brown too. It's like a
on.
brownish red
All
or a
right, they-
reddish brown.
I want to be in the room when they're trying to come up with the names for these, because ox blood is no different than any other blood. It's just blood.
I mean, I don't know where it originated, but then
Oxblood.
that specific shade of red/brown got
Okay.
named oxblood. And
Like, I
now-
respect what these people are trying to do over at Pantone. Just comes off a little pretentious. That's all. Just a tiny
but
bit.
it doesn't, because it's only pretentious if you think it's like frivolous and not useful in any way, which makes you come off as pretentious because it's like, oh, I'm in healthcare. What I do is actually important.
I'm not saying that at all. I said I respect what they do.
But then you called it pretentious. So no, you don't. Like, you just negated yourself.
Have I tanked our opportunity to get a Pantone sponsorship?
Probably, which is a real bummer.
Pantone, listen. Look, I just want to know where oxblood comes from. Like, how do you come up? I want to know how you come up with the names. That's all, because they're very unique. I mean, that mocha mousse, that's brown. It's brown. It's just brown.
But there are many shades of brown.
They're like light brown and dark brown.
And there's cool undertones, there are warm undertones,
Okay.
there is hue, there is, oh geez, I didn't study for this.
Contrast.
There's saturation.
Saturation is a good one.
There's like, this is a soft
I think women
soft brown. It's a medium brown. It's not light, it's not dark. It's kind of a medium soft brown.
are okay.
And I kind of want to say it might have kind of cool undertones in it. I mean, brown is a warm color, but you can have a warm color that has cool undertones.
Okay, so do you know what AI says about the difference between men and women in color perception?
What?
Says that women may have evolved to have better color perception than men to help them distinguish between safe and poisonous berries and
I
fruits.
have heard that theory before.
Because women were the gathering and
Yeah.
men were hunting.
Right. If you buy into that. I feel like probably everyone
That's
did
AI.
a little
I
bit
have
of everything.
No idea.
But
I don't know how that could. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? But
I don't know. It's interesting to wonder about, though. I mean, I think
Differences-
in the modern world, typically women are better at color than men, but
Yeah.
I don't know that that's, I mean, clearly it's not a biological difference.
Right.
It's more of like, maybe we're just socialized to be more attuned to it, or we have more opportunities to practice
yeah.
distinguishing them.
Google AI says men are better at processing contrast and rapid movements.
Mm.
I don't know what that means exactly, but
Why would that be? Is this the hunting
The hunting
hypothesis?
thing. Hunting
But is that
hypothesis.
true?
differences in testosterone levels cause different organization of neurons in the visual cortex of men and women. I certainly believe in like the possibility that hormonal differences can change vision perception.
Yeah, hormones do all sorts
They
of
do
things.
all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting.
I feel like I know this is, you're not supposed to do this in science, right? But like anecdotally, my N of 1
Sure.
of myself, I'm pretty good at noticing little quick movements, you know? If a spider moves on the floor across the
That's
room,
true.
catches my attention immediately.
I think that's anxiety.
Who knows what that is?
You're always searching for threats.
I am always searching for threats.
All right. Second question for
The
you.
world is full of threats.
Second question. Can we move off of Pantones?
Do we have to?
I really do want to hear. Am I the only person in the world who has never heard of
It's
Pantone?
a big deal. It makes the news when Pantone puts out their color of the year. Like, it'll be on the Today Show and stuff like that. You know, I mean, it's not like serious, heavy news, but it is a thing.
I believe you. Okay. I want to know if you remember your old personal statement.
Oh,
For
I
grad
try
school.
not to. I bet it's awful.
Do you remember anything you said in it? Because this comes up usually
don't.
around like application time and like
Yeah.
right like the match day is going to be coming soon, and so
Mhm.
sometimes like you see people talk about like how they reread their personal statement like 10 years later.
Oh, that would be, you would have to pay me a lot of money to go back and read that thing.
It would be painful for me.
It would be
too.
really painful. I probably talked about, coming from
A rural.
a rural area where education was subpar,
That's a good one.
and then working my way up to Dartmouth.
And
That's where I was
how
applying.
excited you are about research and
Oh,
scientific
probably.
discovery.
Probably.
Because I
Ugh,
definitely put that in my
super
research.
cringy. Yeah, you hate research, and you're like,
Oh my
well, I'll
God.
just put it in.
I
what
put
I'm
it in-
supposed to say.
No, there's so much of that is part of personal statements for
Mhm.
like higher education, and like it's stupid how we do these personal statements.
Mhm.
Like,
Do they still do them?
yeah, they still do them,
Okay.
and it's still like, what are your goals for your career? Like, no one knows.
Right.
Like, I have no idea.
You want to know my honest goals? My honest goals are to be able to make a living for myself and not hate what I do every single
So you
day.
can't say that.
Exactly.
I think it should change. We should just change the goal. Like, I think it's great to have like a writing sample of something in your
Yeah.
life. Like, I think that's really good because it helps to personalize the application, right?
Okay.
So why can't it just be like a story? Usually their stories are involved. Like, you always tell something about your life. But why do we have to like say something that explains? Why does it always have to relate to like your purpose for why you want to do this program?
Yeah.
You're
I mean, I can kind of see it from the admissions committee perspective of like, everyone wants to be able to make a living and not hate what they do. So why do you want to make a living doing this specifically?
but the thing is, in my mind, you're already applying. You are going through the time and money and education, the
Mhm.
prerequisites to get to this point where you can apply to this thing.
Right. I think so. I've been on
So
the
what's
other
the
end
point?
of these things sometimes, not for medical schools, obviously, but just,
Yeah.
applications in general. And usually what I have been looking for when I have to be on those committees is, does it seem like this person is really actually interested and passionate and committed to this thing in addition to having talent in it? Or does it seem like their parents are making them do this, for example? Or they just don't know what else to do, but they don't really care that much, so they're probably going to end up dropping out after year 2 or whatever. Because when you have so many people applying for the same thing, and they are all, to your point, they are all qualified or they wouldn't be applying, you have to have some distinguishing measure.
But I feel like if that's the goal for the personal statement, you're going to have people trying to tell the committee what they want to hear.
Of course, but here's the thing. The committee is not stupid. They know when you're doing that. They hear 3,000 times the same thing, then they know that that's just the thing that everyone thinks they're
Yeah.
supposed to say.
Hmm.
What actually stands out in applications is when you don't say those things.
When
Because then it's like, ooh, this one's different.
when you say, I just want a stable job. I just want to pay back my loans.
I don't know that I would advise that, but it would certainly catch their attention. It would be different.
Yeah, I didn't know you were on a committee. You've read,
Yeah, I've been on.
stuff like that.
I've been on hiring
I do
committees
not
and
envy-
student applications for different programs and stuff.
I was never on that as a resident. They didn't trust me enough to select.
Rightly so,
Matchless.
probably. You'd have some ridiculous criteria just to amuse yourself.
Get a lot of good content out of it. But I don't envy people that do that because I know in residency programs, especially like the top programs, very highly competitive specialties get 1,000
Right.
applications.
Right.
It's nuts. Like, how do you?
So I was in a previous job. There was a program that high school students would apply to, and it was a very prestigious and competitive program. And I was one of the people making decisions about who gets accepted and who doesn't. And so what you do in those cases, we would get thousands and thousands of applications for like 35 spots. So you first do anything automated you can do to filter out, like, anybody who's got an SAT score below whatever.
Yeah. You have to have some kind of cutoff.
You got it, because just for sheer numbers, there's just not enough resources to evaluate it. Now with AI, maybe this will all be a little bit different. I don't know, because now there are, better resources. But
find the right people.
Yeah.
AI, and that's
that would be interesting to see if that actually could work. But anyway, so we would filter out anything we could automatically, and then we would go through and we would just like the people that you can just tell, the ones that are kind of like everyone else, and then the ones that rise above in one way or another. The way in which they rise above is individual, but it stands out to you.
How quickly do you read a personal statement whenever you're having to?
You skim.
You skim it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is another thing. Like if you're telling me all the buzzwords, I'm just skimming right over that. Don't even bother writing it.
And then if it's a personal statement where you find yourself like reading every word of it,
then you're like, okay, this guy. Like there was one student one year who had he was homeschooled by his parents, and they sailed around the world on a sailboat. That was part of his education. Like they incorporated that into his curriculum, right? Like that makes you go, wow, interesting. I want to hear more about that.
Yeah. And
And
whether the parents went to jail or not.
For homeschooling?
On a sailboat?
Well, if you're still doing the curriculum.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure it's fine. Clearly, it was a smart kid because they're applying to this prestigious program.
Right.
Did you guys accept it? Accept that one?
I think he did. I think we did accept him, but I don't think he accepted us.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really?
Because some of these kids get accepted into multiple of the same
this whole different
kind
world
of program.
Of giant of super smart kids doing summer programs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's become the thing, I think what we see in med school with like step scores being pass fail, and then you have to do other things to distinguish yourself, right? It trickles all the way down into high school too. Like that same kind of thing is going on in high schools. So a lot of kids would apply to stuff like
now we know the blueprint.
Yeah.
Sail around the world while you're
That's all
teaching
you gotta
your
do.
kids.
No big deal.
Get in wherever you want. All right, let's take a break. Hey, Kristen, you just got disability insurance recently.
Well, I got it renewed, yeah.
How does it feel?
It feels pretty great.
Yeah, it's such an important thing.
It really is.
Like, especially for physicians, because
yeah.
I use
You
my
need
hands.
your hands.
I need my feet.
You need your feet.
Most
you
of my
need
hands.
your eyeballs.
Eyeballs, too.
Yeah.
There's like literally everything. Like there's
Yeah.
so many things that could happen. And having that peace of mind of having disability insurance is really important. And so let me tell you about Pearson Ravitz.
Tell me.
This is a physician-founded company by Dr. Stephanie Pearson, a disabled OBGYN, and Scott Ravitz, a disability insurance expert. Now, they've come together and have helped more than 6,000 physicians get disability insurance.
That's pretty cool.
Just an advocate for physicians as well to
Yeah.
like help people not have this massive oversight of like thinking you don't need disability insurance because you
Right.
really do when you're a physician.
It's the kind of thing you got to buy when you're healthy for when you're not.
That's right. To find out more and get a free one-to-one consultation, go to PEARSONRAVITZ.com/knock-knock. Again, that's www.pearsonravitz.com/knock-knock to get more information and protect your biggest investment, you. All right, we are back and have a new segment, a new game for us to play.
Okay. I like games.
I don't have a good name for this. So
Oh.
we have to come up with this, but this is something that I think we can probably do more than once.
Okay.
How would Glauc and Fleck and Cinematic Universe characters solve everyday problems?
Okay.
So basically you give me a character and you give me like just Like, can't find your car keys.
Mm-hmm.
How would the psychiatrist deal with that?
Okay.
And these are not like actual psychiatrists. These are like my character.
Your character.
My version.
Your stereotype.
Yes, exactly.
Exaggerated characters.
All right. What do you think?
Okay.
Ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. So give me a character or give me the scenario that they're reacting to
Okay.
or trying to solve, and then give me
choose
the
a
character.
Okay. I'm just going to pick like everyday issues that are top of mind because they happen to us. Okay. Okay. So last night our internet went out. So internet goes out.
Okay. All right.
How does the neurologist deal with it?
Okay. All right. The neurologist solving an internet outage.
That's right. Or just,
Okay.
I don't know if he has to solve the outage, but he is,
Right.
his internet has gone out. Now what?
Okay. So the first thing he's got to do is he's got to try to identify the lesion.
Okay.
So, usually that involves an extensive physical exam, but I don't know if a reflex hammer can get a lot done, or like 2-point discrimination, or asking the router questions. Might interrogate the router. That's like an actual thing you do with checking the internet.
Yeah, just like go see what's going on down there.
Yeah.
Chat with the AI bot.
Chat. And probably be absolutely like merciless, like ridicule. That's what would happen. So he'd call the, do a physical exam on the system, check the Ethernet cables.
Yep.
Check the connection, make sure it's plugged in.
Mm-hmm.
Can't figure out where the lesion is. So he'll, in lieu of ordering an MRI on the on the system, call the internet company and
Berate them.
be a bit condescending. Yeah, talk about how accuse the customer service representative of running out of neurotransmitters, of not knowing where the router's neurotransmitters are in the system. And eventually, though, he would get it done and also end up receiving a discount on his bill.
Just to allow themselves to stop having to talk to this man. Yeah.
Exactly.
If it's fiber optic internet, that's, those cables, that's kind of like the nervous system.
Yeah, that's true. It's very that was a good one. That was a good connection between the two. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head though. The internet Xfinity or Verizon, whoever it is, would give the neurologist whatever he wanted so that
go away.
So they would never have to talk to him again.
Yep.
So
squeaky wheel gets the grease.
There you go. Okay, that's a good one. All right.
Okay.
Give me another one.
Another one. Oh, okay. So you know how kids learn math differently these days? Like we
Yes.
learned it
Oh my
one
God,
way,
I'm aware of this.
and then at some point
it's been
they completely overhauled how math curriculum gets taught.
it's been a big issue in our house.
Yes, because we've got
I try to solve
kids in elementary school learning math.
long division one way, and apparently that's not the way they're taught to do it now.
Right.
And it's
I don't know about you, but I can't always follow when you're just seeing like the kids' homework, right? Like I can't always follow the chicken scratch to figure out what it is that. Anyway, so you got to deal with that. You got to help your kid
with math
homework, but they have learned it completely differently than you.
All right. What doctor am I?
And you are the anesthesiologist.
Okay. Well, I think this is another good pairing because anesthesiologists are very cool and comfortable in stressful situations.
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And math homework. Sometimes there's
tears.
There's tears. There's yelling involved.
Yes, lots of protesting.
The question is, in this situation, what is the surgeon and what is the patient? So is the child the surgeon? Because in some ways that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
A bit of a hot temper.
Only concerned with
very
life as they see
yes, they want it done a certain
it.
way.
Yeah.
And are not able to explore other potential solutions.
Okay.
And the math problem being the patient, right? That would make sense.
Yes.
They
are trying to dissect this patient.
Yeah, they're trying to but they come from with a different perspective than the surgeon.
Mm-hmm.
And their perspective is not wrong unless you're the surgeon who understands that it is wrong. The anesthesiologist knows that there's maybe a couple different ways to come at this.
Okay.
But the surgeon doesn't see it that way.
Right.
The bed has to be at a particular height.
Yeah.
And the anesthesiologist
Doesn't
doesn't care.
Doesn't matter to him.
Doesn't matter. Whatever gets the surgery done.
Yeah.
And so I think the patience of the anesthesiologist in the midst of high stress, anxiety filled situation would very calmly and comfortably figure out a way to solve this math problem that is acceptable to the surgeon, otherwise known as the child.
Question.
Yes.
Would he be doing Sudoku? Well.
Oh, well, he'd certainly have to take a break. It's like 15 minutes. Like, let's take a break, go get some coffee.
Yeah.
Maybe chat a little bit, check investment portfolio.
Okay.
Some bank account stuff. Then go back to it. Maybe do a little crossword. While the kid's trying to figure out what 9 times 7 is.
While the surgeon's doing their thing.
While the surgeon's doing their thing, exactly. And then eventually it'll be time to wake the patient up and you go on to
again.
Go on to the next problem.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right.
That's good. All right.
Is that how you feel you handle it when our kids need your help with math?
Oh, I am definitely not an anesthesiologist. I'm not.
I should have said ophthalmologist.
I am much more. It's like a surgeon and another surgeon. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
We don't. I try my best, but I also have a very one-track mind, and I want my kid to do it the way that I think is most efficient. And the best way to do it, which is the way I learned, but it's not necessarily the way the kid learned, so it's hard.
It's also not necessarily the most efficient. It's just the way you know how to do it.
Oh, it's the correct way to do it.
Okay.
I'm absolutely correct.
Yep.
I don't know what they're teaching these kids these days. All right, let's do it. Give me one more.
Oh, I've got a good one. Your toilet is clogged.
Another thing that happened yesterday.
Yes. See, I'm telling you.
Had to have a conversation with the kiddos.
The surgeon clogged the toilet.
No, it wasn't me.
No, in the previous.
Yeah, that's right. I had I'm very good about not clogging toilets. I had to have a talk with the kids about the concept of multiple flushes.
Yes, they use way too much toilet paper.
Yeah, that's a separate problem.
So we can't get them to not do that. So the compromise is, okay, then just flush more often.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Anyhow, they're going to love that we're discussing this.
Absolutely. When they're older and hear this.
So your toilet is clogged and you are internal medicine.
Well, this actually goes well because an internist is one type of internist would be a gastroenterologist.
Oh, okay.
Who would first peer into the toilet and examine the health of the stool.
Sure. What's that chart?
Oh, what is that chart called? There's a chart that like the shape and size and consistency of the stool and like how the Bristol.
Oh, okay, there you
Bristol
go.
chart, the Bristol stool chart.
You do one of those.
Yes. And then, as we know from my videos, internists are not the quickest decision makers.
Okay.
And
true.
so they will present a differential diagnosis on why the toilet was clogged. Could be a number of reasons.
Put it forward as a hypothesis.
Too much toilet paper. Too much other things. Toilet not working right.
Tree roots in your plumbing?
Tree roots in your plumbing. Septic tank overflowing. Act of God. I don't know. The little handle, the thing that lifts the flapper.
Uh-huh.
I guess
I
that's
don't think that
broken.
would clog your toilet. I think it would just
Oh, it
prevent
would
it
clog
from
it.
flushing.
That's true. Bugs.
Oh. That's out there.
Don't tell me you've never been scared that something's gonna swim up.
I never think it'd be a bug. I think it'd be a snake.
Okay, snake.
Okay. Snakes in your pipes.
Snakes in your pipes. Pipe snakes. Toilet snakes.
That should have been the sequel to Snakes on a Plane. Snakes in your pipes.
Snakes in your toilet.
Yeah.
I think toilet snakes is a good thing. Anyway, so and then after deliberating on the potential causes of this problem, they would come up with a course of action that is just plunging it. There you go.
What if plunging it doesn't work though? Like, what if plunging's not going to do anything if you got
Then you have
snakes in your pipes? You're just going to get a snake bite.
If plunging doesn't work, if first line doesn't work, then you refer the toilet to the university. I'm good at this.
All right. Is that when you call the plumber? Is that the university?
Yeah. Exactly. Send it up the chain a bit.
All right.
All right, let's take one more break. Hey, Kristen.
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of Demodex mites.
Uh-huh.
You know, the eyelid mites?
Yeah.
They're on your eyelid?
Uh-huh.
They're just right there in your eyelid?
Yeah, thank you.
Well, what if they flew at you?
Oh, God.
What if they jumped? What if they jumped? Would that bother you even more?
Oh, it'd be even
Would that
worse.
be better?
Jumping bugs are always
Well,
worse.
I have good news for you. They're not jumping.
Oh,
they don't
that
jump
is
at
good.
you. But they are there, and they can cause like crusty, flaky, itchy, red,
That's not
irritated eyelids.
Mm-hmm.
So I can tell you're a little bit grossed out.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's a disease. It's called Demodex blepharitis.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like no fun.
Well, but it's pretty common, and a lot of people don't really know about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, these like they are kind of cute. I gotta admit, just a little cute.
Maybe a little cute.
Regardless, you shouldn't get grossed out by this. You should get checked out.
Okay.
All right, go to eyelidcheck.com for more information. Again, that's EYELID check.com to get more information about these little guys and Demodex blepharitis. All right, my final segment for you today.
Okay.
I think I want to try to do this for most of our Glauc Talk episodes
Okay.
because I think we got a lot of material.
Okay.
I call it parenting rounds.
Oh. Yeah.
So, just like on rounds, you present a patient.
Uh-huh.
Well, in this case, our patient is a parenting thing.
Okay. So when you're on rounds, you're presenting the patient, but to what end?
Oh, just, you're trying to take care of them, the patient.
So you're discussing the
But
best
here we're
course of
just-
action
Yeah.
on rounds?
Yeah. Here we're just either telling like a thing that taught us about parenting
Mhm.
or a difficult situation that we had to navigate.
Parenting case study.
There you go. Parenting case of that.
Okay.
Parenting rounds. That's what this is. So,
All right.
what I have for you, and if you have one, then we can hear yours as well. But
Gee, thanks.
I don't want to put you on. You're always mad when I put you on the spot.
Well, that is true. That's true.
Can't have it both ways here.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough.
But mine is the concept of carpool eavesdropping.
Mm.
So this is something that I learned recently. I'm sure you probably knew about this long before me. The fact that if you're in a car with we have a 12-year-old daughter,
Mhm. Almost 13.
almost 13, so preteen. If you're in there, she's at the age where she doesn't like to talk about her life that much.
Right.
Right. It's hard to get her to kind of open up about, just anything happening in her life. Right.
Right.
Well, what I've figured out was if you're the parents that like do a lot of the carpooling,
Mm-hmm.
transporting, the 12-year-old and the gaggle of 12-year-old girls
Yes.
or 12-year-old boy or whoever it is.
That is the
12-year-old
key.
kids.
You got to have the gaggle.
The gaggle. You got to get them
Gaggle's got
together.
to be in the car.
Get a big old car. Get your minivan. This is another good thing about the minivan. Yeah, I pushed back on the minivan, but
I told you.
good idea. Good idea. You get them together, and then as the parent, if you try to be as invisible as possible, so you don't move too much. You just drive.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say anything.
Don't call attention to yourself.
Don't chime in. You just listen. Just listen. You will hear things about your child's life. You will hear things that otherwise it would be hard to hear.
That's right.
Like
they would never offer up.
They would never
voluntarily.
offer it up. Like even just like simple stuff, like the types of music she likes to listen to.
Her favorite song these days.
The what's going on in class. The teachers she doesn't like. Whatever. It's usually at 12 years old, it's not deep stuff they're talking. They're not talking about deep things. But it's just and I don't need that.
Sometimes you might hear about crushes.
Yeah,
Who's got a crush on who?
That's the kind of stuff I want to hear about.
You need to know.
And I think it's also good that somebody in your child's friend group, some parent, has an idea of what's going on, right?
Right? Yes.
So it's the coolest thing because it's like they forget you're there.
You disappear.
How? Why?
I know.
What is the psychology here? Because you're
sitting 7 feet away from them, even if they are as far away from you as they can get.
I'm not trying to hide from them.
Right.
I'm in plain sight.
Exactly.
I'm a large man. I can't hide. But they just it's like you're not even there. And they'll just talk. And I just sit there and listen.
It's a magic trick.
And I learn things.
Yeah.
It's great.
It makes me rethink my own childhood, though. Because I think when I was you just think they're not listening for some reason.
Right. Yeah.
But of course they're listening.
Of course. Exactly. And it's like kind of bittersweet coming to this conclusion because once they become driving age, it's all.
Yeah, you only have a few. There's a window, just a few years there where you can do all this.
We're going to be taking a lot of road trips
with our friends.
Oh God, actually, I don't know.
Maybe not a road trip, but outing.
Long trips, yes.
Things where you need to drive somewhere.
At least 30, 45 minutes, an hour. Really give them plenty of time. And then,
I want to know what you learned. You'll have to tell me off air if you learned anything good.
Yeah, I'll tell you later. But I also, because I mentioned this on Blue Sky, and I got a good tip from somebody. They said because what they'll do is if I have the music on, it's sometimes hard to hear them because they'll start kind of whispering.
Oh, yeah.
Talk softly.
Turn it on back there.
You put it on the back speakers so they have to talk louder. Oh man,
genius. That's somebody who's been through the ranks already.
I know. And I did get one person that was kind of told me that I was a bad parent.
Oh, please. No. What are you supposed to do? Put in noise canceling headphones to give them their privacy?
Well, the guy was like, well, do you read your daughter's diary?
That is not the same.
Not the same thing.
Right.
This is public.
She sees you're there.
Right.
She's choosing to say things in front of you.
I can't help it if I hear it.
Right.
I'm not coercing anything. And what am I going to do? Be like, oh, children, I also love Taylor Swift. Let me tell you what I think about. People are like, oh, maybe you should just talk with your daughter.
No, they don't want that.
Do you know
they don't want
that's coming from someone who doesn't have a preteen daughter.
That's got to be true and never has. Yep. Yep. They do not want to be made aware that you are there. And for the love of God, do not let your friend know.
If they invite you to chime in, that's something different. But no, you got to be invited into the conversation.
Yeah. You are a shameful blight on their social life. Myself included. Parents, right? Until told otherwise.
That's right. Parenting's fun.
It's so fun. Their kids are the best. It's an enriching life experience.
All right. Well, we'll do that again next time. So
right.
It's just parenting rounds each time. I already have 3 or 4 other ones that I can do. So we'll save it for next time. Thank you all for that's it. That's our episode. That's Glauc Talk for today. Let us know what you thought of the episode. If you have any other topics or whatever do you have any parenting advice? Other things other hacks? Can we call that a hack? It's kind of a hack. A little bit. I don't know. Other ways to like figure out what's going on in your children's lives? I'm up for
Particularly
I'm up for
the
suggestions.
teenage kinds.
Exactly. Yeah. You can email us knockknockhi@human-content.com. Hanging out with us on our social media platforms. Hang out with us in our Human Content Podcast family over on Instagram and TikTok at Human Content Pods. Thank you to all the listeners leaving feedback and reviews. If you subscribe and comment on your favorite podcasting app or on YouTube at Glaucomfleckens, by the way, that's where all these episodes are going up. We can give you a shout out, like at MyTube785 on YouTube said, "Hi, Dr. and Mrs. Glaucomflecken. Would you be open to doing a Knock Knock Hi show with a guest to discuss resident burnout and resident well-being?" This topic has drawn a lot of attention these days. The Wall Street Journal article is an example. I'm not sure I'm aware of that article. I'll have to look at it.
Yeah, I'm
definitely
not sure
interested.
which one they're... I have a couple ideas of which one that might be, and I'm not sure which one it is.
And also much more on the social media. Obsession versus competence would be a great theme. Oh, interesting. Obsession versus competence.
As it relates to social media? Is that
I think
what they're saying?
like if you're obsessed with something, does that necessarily make you competent? Like if I'm obsessed with a topic in healthcare, does that necessarily make me competent if I'm just talking about it?
Right.
That kind of thing. We also have, so check out our YouTube channel. Full video episodes are up every week at Glaucomfleckens. We also have a Patreon. Lots of cool perks, bonus episodes to react to medical shows and movies, hang out with other members of the Knock Knock Hi community. We're hanging out. We're doing stuff. We all got chores to do every day, but we do it together.
I don't think that's going to entice people to
No?
join.
Oh,
To tell them they'll be assigned chores.
No chores, just fun.
Just
Just
fun.
activities. It's
Yeah.
great. Early ad-free episode access, interactive Q&A live stream events, much more. Patreon.com/Glaucomflecken or go to Glaucomflecken.com. Patreon community perks, new member shout out, Joseph S. and Zach V. Thank you for joining. And thank you to the Jonathans. A virtual head nod to you all. Patrick, Lucia.
Oh, sure.
Lucius. Now you got me. I wonder if I'm guessing.
Stroking out?
Patrick, Lucia C, Sharon S, Edward K, Stephen G, Marion W, Mr. Granddaddy, Caitlin C, Brianna L, Mary H, KL, Keith G, Jeremiah, I haven't done that in a while, Keith G, Jeremiah H, Parker, Muhammad L, David H times 2, Kaylee A, Gabe, Gary M, Eric B, Marlene S, Scott M, Kelsey M, Joseph S, Dr. Hoover, I like that, Dr. Hoover, and Bubbly Salt. Thank you. Patreon roulette time random shout out to someone on the emergency medicine tier. Tracy P, thank you for being a patron. And thank you all for listening. We're your hosts, Will and Kristen Flannery, also known as the Glaucomfleckens. Our executive producers are Will Flannery, Kristen Flannery, Aaron Corney, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Burke. Editor, engineer, Jason Portiz. Our music is by Omer Benzvi. To learn about our Knock Knock Hi's program disclaimer ethics policy, and wait for it, submission verifications and licensing terms, and HIPAA release terms.
Don't forget
Kristen,
those.
you know where you can go?
You can go to our website at glaucomflecken.com.
Or you can reach out to us at knockknockhi@human-content.com with any questions, concerns, or if you have them, fun medical puns. Knock Knock Hi is a Human Content production.
Knock, knock. Goodbye.
Hey, Kristen.
Yeah,
You know we love Dax Copilot here.
we sure do.
Like it's great.
Love it.
Little Jonathan in your pocket.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Cutesy.
Yeah, helping out with admin burden, documentation. And one of the things I really like is it can like organize your notes for you.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if this might come as a surprise to you.
No.
Like my notes sometimes
Uh-huh.
like not the most organized.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I could use a little help, and Dax is there to help me with that.
That's right.
While also, by the way, like looking at my patients when I'm talking to them.
I love it when my physicians are using DAX in my appointments because they just have a better conversation and rapport, and it's just a better overall appointment.
And one thing that people might get a little bit concerned about with AI products is safety.
Yeah.
But Dax Copilot is backed by Microsoft's robust like security. I feel great about their security and
HIPAA compliant.
HIPAA compliant. And so it's my patients are safe. I know the documentation is safe, and it's just a great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very helpful.
To learn about how Dax Copilot can help you reduce burnout and restore the joy of practicing medicine, visit aka.ms/knockknockhi. Again, that's aka.ms/knockknockhi. Thanks for watching the episode. You can find more on that playlist over there. If you prefer to listen, or you just had your eyes dilated, you can binge full episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Or join the party over on Patreon, where you get early access episodes, hang out with us, get lots of exclusive bonus content. Help you subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think.